Long ago, there might have been a time where you tried to talk to your dog, your cat, your chicken, your goat, probably when you were a little kid and you maybe thought that was a possible thing to do. Now, since the beginning of time, a recorded time that man has been keeping track of, we've never been able to do that quite yet. Now, with the advent of artificial intelligence, it seems like all that might be changing. Brought to you here today, I got you a Smithsonian Magazine article which talks about scientists using artificial intelligence to crack the sperm whale's code of language. Now, the title here is Scientists Discover a Phonetic Alphabet Used by Sperm Whales, moving one step closer to decoding their chatter. For those of you who do not know what phonetic alphabet means, it basically means an alphabet containing a separate character for each distinguishable speech sound. So it's kind of like the American alphabet where we have 26 letters, each producing its own unique sound. So for that, and just correlating that bit for whales here, that's what phonetic alphabet means. So that's what scientists are trying to understand, what all the clicks and noises that whales make and what it all means. And here, researchers are using the artificial intelligence to spot those patterns in the recordings of these sperm whales. And they're doing that by using a lot of data. So I'm going to read a bit of this article, not the whole thing, but just to give us enough of an idea of what's going on here. And I'm going to give my opinions on it and maybe just kind of see what it might mean for the bigger picture of humanity and just using AI with animals long term, which is a really interesting concept and one that seemed artificial not too long ago, but is now becoming a reality. So let's start here. Now, with the help from artificial intelligence, scientists are starting to unravel some of the mysteries surrounding the sperm whale communication system. They found a plethora of sounds that they termed sperm whale phonetic alphabet, raising the possibility that the mammals have their own language, just like humans. Research described their findings Tuesday in the article journal Nature Communications. The new paper is the result of a collaborative research effort called Project SETI, however you pronounce it, which stands for Cetacean Translation Initiative. With the initiative, researchers were curious to know if advancements in machine learning and computing could help make sense of whale vocalizations. Very interesting, right? So using artificial intelligence to crack the whale language model. Scientists recorded a clan of 400 sperm whales in the Eastern Caribbean between 2005 and 2018, and they estimate at least 60 individuals ended up on the recordings. Using advanced computer algorithms, they detected patterns in these sounds, suggesting sperm whale communication may be more complex than previously assumed. So this is really interesting. So what the researchers here are finding basically is that these sperm whales have their own language that is very complex, sort of just like the English language that I'm using right now, right? At its basics, everything I'm saying now, or everything you're thinking in your language right now, probably English, is extremely advanced at its core, but it seems easy now that we understand it, right? And same difference with these whales. To them, they understand everything that they're saying. They've evolved to do that in their own languages. It's just that their language and their behaviors are so much different than ours that we do not understand what all their clicks and gestures really mean. And any human just observing these animals, staring at them and listening to their noises that they produce, is probably never going to understand them. We haven't evolved to get there, and that's why we're now using artificial intelligence as a tool to crack through that barrier in terms of understanding them. So it hasn't been proven yet that that's entirely possible, but it seems like we're in the early stages of doing that. Let's keep reading. Sperm whales rattle off a series of rapid-fire clicks that researchers have named codas. With each coda consists of between 3 and 40 clicks. In addition to changing the number of clicks they make in quick succession, whales often speed up or slow down the tempo of each coda. Researchers call this rubato. Sometimes they add an extra click at the end of coda, which scientists call ornamentation. Very interesting. So we're already being in the early stages of breaking down just the basic concepts of how whales communicate. Now, the more we understand this, each increment more that we understand this, the more and more likely we are going to be able to just understand how whales are communicating to each other and ultimately being able to understand them and replicate those noises using AI. At least that's sort of what my interpretation of this is long term. And basically, it means long term, we might be able to start talking to the whales, as crazy as that sounds. So in the end, the team here, the AI scientist researcher team, identified 156 distinct codas, each with its own rubato, ornamentation, tempo, and rhythm. On their own, these codas may simply be meaningless sounds, but when combined, they could add up to something akin to syllables, words, or even sentences. And that's definitely true. I mean, if we apply this to our own language, I don't know, everything, all the words and sentences that I've said during this entire recording are probably thousands of little letters pieced into a giant formation or this giant idea and concept that you are able to understand. And that's what makes language so complex and difficult to understand at the end of the day. Now, I'm no expert in this, but just breaking it down logically, basically from first principles perspectives, it's extremely complex and difficult to do, especially when you're looking from a human trying to understand what a whale is saying. So looking here, we're now starting to find the first building blocks of whale language, says study co-author David Gruber, a marine biologist at the founder of Project City. Researchers still don't know what the repertoire of clicks means. If anything, one possibility is that sperm whales are using the clicks as a form of language, but it's also possible the noises are more like music, which can have a strong influence on emotions without it actually conveying information. So this is really interesting. Basically what it sounds like here is the whale language is extremely complex, right? And obviously here in the article, it doesn't show that, hey, we understand what they're saying, maybe when they're hungry or how to hunt, whatever it is that they're trying to say. It just means, hey, we're making incremental steps and we're following the right path in terms of using AI to actually crack the code here. So looking here, it really looks like, let's just read here more. So for example, in the future, researchers might be able to match vocalizations with specific behaviors. That may not produce an exact one-to-one translation from whale to human language, but it would be an amazing achievement. All the same, says Diana Rice, a psychologist, or I don't need to read that part. But basically, the point here is that humans and AI in combination, when watching and recording these whales, are beginning to understand or correlate between their language and their behavior and putting the two together to understand what the whales are trying to do when they're talking to each other. Now, what blows my mind specifically isn't just the fact that we're starting to understand whales, their language and their behavior, but in terms of seeing that AI is beginning to crack the code on just the whale language means we can possibly start to apply this to other animals in the future. So as long as we keep making incremental percentage increases in terms of efficiency and understanding these languages of whales, eventually you're going to hit a point in the exponential curve of the artificial intelligence understanding these models and these languages where we hit a point where we do understand what they're saying and we're able to replicate it with general algorithms with other species of animals. In super long term, I mean, it's crazy to say this. It sounds crazy, but it also sounds possible that it will happen in the not too distant future, where the AI will be the tool, the sword that humans use to start communicating with all sorts of other species of animals. Maybe not super efficiently, but at least to a degree that we can't even imagine to think of in today's, at least in today's world. Like, I would have to see an example of how that all works. I mean, if I try to talk to a dog using AI 50 years from now, that's really, really good. Just how good is that? I'm not able to know that just yet, but it just begs the question, what are the limits of this long term, and how does it affect the human relationship with the ecosystem, with animals long term, as crazy as it sounds? So I just wanted to kind of show you guys all this, give you guys my thoughts and what it might mean long term for bringing humans together with the animals of the world, which is really weird to think about, but it sounds like we're on the cusp of doing that maybe within the next 10 to 50 years. I don't know where that endpoint is on the exponential graph, but it sounds like as long as scientists keep working on this and making advances, it sounds inevitable as long as we keep going about that path. So that's my thoughts here, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and definitely let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Thank you all so much, and see you on the next video. Bye-bye.